Hello, everybody. Welcome to Students for Political Engagement series on the 2022 York Region District School Board Student Trustee election. Today, we have an interview with the East Region candidate, Meihuan Yu. Welcome, Meihuan.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
To begin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I am a grade 10 student currently at Unionville High School, and I'm in the arts program. And I'm also the founder of a nonprofit called the New Gen, and I am a student trustee candidate this year, representing east of York Region.
I guess the obvious question in this situation is, why did you want to run for student trustee?
Yeah, so I wanted to run for student trustee because my own personal experience in the school board, I feel like especially after COVID, I wanted to take on that leadership role to really voice the opinions of students who might not have the opportunity, the same platform as me. So, like for example, during COVID, like a lot of students, they had to do hybrid learning, online learning, and among those students were newcomers to Canada, and barely knowing English and having to deal with the whole COVID situation. I think seeing that really struck something in me and like encouraged me to get this position and try to speak for them.
That's cool. What do you plan to do with your platform and how will you achieve your goals?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think it's really important to see how my platform can actually achieve something. I feel like in a lot of these senses, when you see, hey, vote for this figurehead, vote for that figurehead, it's a lot of the times you don't see that their platform is reaching anywhere. So for my platform, I highlighted three important things that I think that a lot of students in YRDSB wants to see change. And to start, COVID has stopped a lot of funding for like the sports and arts initiatives. And one of my first points is just to bring that back so students can have better mental health, can enjoy themselves at school, right? So that whether that be like basketball teams or in-person theater performances, I think a lot of youth would benefit from that. I certainly would. And the second point is peer mental health support. So I feel like a lot of the times students they're intimidated when they go to teachers or guidance counselors for help. Being there myself when I needed help with mental health, I struggled a lot with going to adults or teachers and saying like, hey, I need help, like I don't feel okay at school. So that's why I think it's better for students to turn to each other, peer-to-peer support, right? To have that environment, to have that welcoming community they could fall back onto. And I will be partnering with York Region social workers and trained professionals to teach healthy coping mechanisms at school. So then students can turn to each other and feel safe, feel connected, and hopefully be able to get through their day a lot more easier. And finally, one of my last points is to open up social events and connect that with student leadership. So I think it's time that students take the role as leaders in YRDSB and build connections, find other people like them, especially coming out of COVID. We lost that social interaction. We're looking for that. A lot of students lost that ability to make friends because they are online. So then I think that when they return and when it is safe, I want to host pitch events and I want to work with other fellow trustees to see what we can do for students to create maybe a semi-formal or something that could really celebrate our success because we did it. We made it out of this difficult time together, and I think that's really important.
Yes, I think those are some good points. So on to like your role as trustee. So if you were elected as a trustee for the York Region District School Board, um, what are some steps that you will take to ensure that your platform as well as other student voices are heard at the discussion table and taken into consideration in decision making?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because, as I mentioned before, like a lot of. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Is the connection like the.
yes, it's
All
good.
right. So basically, as I said before, that a lot of students like they're unable to, whether it's language barrier or whether it's just not their personality to go out and advocate for their needs. I think that in order to hear from all students, using social media is really good tool. I'm using it right now for my campaign, Instagram, asking questions, just anonymous questions. That's like a huge difference. So Google Forms or Instagram, I would continue my anonymous questions platform. That's been working really well to get the input of all students, and then taking that consideration into my platform and bringing it into admin or the board. I think that's my plan for being able to reach out to all students, is just to really utilize two things. Number one is Instagram and other social medias, and number two is safety and anonymity, because I know a lot of students, they don't want to go up and say, hey, like, I don't like this or I disagree. So I think being that person to say that for them is really empowering, and I'm really honored to have that ability.
Great. Great. What are some pressing issues that students are facing today that you would like to address?
Yeah, so the first pressing issue that students face is low morale. That's huge. When you walk into a school, you kind of see like a bunch of students, front, back, center, no matter where they sit, they kind of have like their heads slumped on their tables, and it's really common to see. And I think that's not what school is. It's really sad that a lot of us, we go to school and have just that expectation of, oh, boring classes, no sports, no arts, no socializing. And I want to change that. I want to show students like, hey, like we can get that environment back. There was a time where we all to some degree enjoyed school. And I think that's really important to make sure we could socialize, have friends, and hang out and be able to have that high school experience that you see on TV shows or movies, where we get arts, we get sports. And I will work with fellow trustees as well as student councils and other board members in order for students to achieve that. And I think the second part is inclusion, right? So a lot of students from minority identities or diverse identities, sometimes they feel like, they're not expressed. And I will advocate for them. I'll try my best to be a good ally for students like that, and for students who have a language barrier. So I think those two are my biggest concerns that I would love to advocate and speak for.
Yes, and I think this will be our final question. So obviously York Region is a very big place, and this election is based on candidates from different regions. And I think you already touched on this a bit, but what are some, methods you would take to engage students from across the region and to hear their concerns and engage them in the process of student trustees?
Yeah, so that was one of the questions that was brought up in my debate. And what I'll do is, again, as I mentioned before, social media, right? It connects all of us. And I know that right now schools have banned Discord and the use of other platforms, which if I were to get elected as student trustee, I would definitely work on that piece as well, to be able to use Discord again, because online students, in-person students, all across the YRDSB, all across the GTA, they need a form of communication. So I will definitely use Instagram, Discord, and a lot of other social media to reach out to everyone. And so everyone could reach out to each other, right? To socialize, to create connections. And this way, I think through social media, through technology, all students can express their voices, and teachers and other important figureheads can hear what they have to say.
Yes, I think that's a very good point, especially like I think your point about Discord, and also I think the board has also blocked Google Chat on the board
Yeah, I've noticed.
emails. So I think yes, I think communication through online platforms is certainly something that we have a lot of use for and would like to see things on. So yes, so thank you for joining us today for this interviews. So before we leave, do you have any final words you would like to say?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for having me today. It was a pleasure to get to know you guys and talk to you guys. I guess my closing statement would be, on February 14th, I want everyone to go out there and vote. And I don't want to be like, hey, vote for me, because all four of us candidates, we put in a lot of work for this. And Tirka, Prisha, and Yale, they are extraordinary candidates. It was great to get to know them as well. And I think the most important part isn't vote for me, like this is what I'll do, this is how I'm different, how I'm special. I think the point is to, you know what, let's all get there, all click the link and vote for who you think will represent your interests the best. And yeah, that's my final message. I hope everyone on the 14th, check your emails. The board will send you a link. Please click that link and please remember to vote. Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for
All
coming.
right. Thank
All right.
you. Bye. Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.